I need to ask you a question.
Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside him, bobbed, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzerland a big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
Drifters, hello to this glorious Sunday, and, you know, may the Spirit of Christ be within you on this Easter Sunday.
May Jason Collett watch over you today. Jesus Christ himself, JC.
He's in good form.
He is in good form.
He rode the first in the Midway, which was good yesterday. This is actually going to be one of the last podcasts that you hear from us for a minute. Your boy has some bigger priorities at stake at the moment.
The Drifters are a pretty big priority.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, but you know, sometimes life just gets in the way of the Drifters.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to have to cop it for a little while.
Yeah. So this set that you're seeing us will not be available for about the next 6 months as we get some renovations done on our house. So that's the first thing. Second thing, my wife is halfway through a pregnancy.
Not quite 6 months.
No, but
Close to.
so she, yes, a little baby on the way. So just dealing with all that as well. But it's mainly the renovation that we're going through, which is gonna, just because it's been sprung on us pretty with virtually no notice.
Yep.
And you might ask, how does a renovation come with short notice? Well, our lovely builders,
Friends of the podcast.
friends of the podcast, absolutely. The date was always early May, but I guess that it has come around quicker than we anticipated.
Yeah, it was early May, and then probably a bit of a lack of discussion, and then it became, no, it is early May.
Yeah. So
You just got to be adaptable, just like the Drifters.
yes. So commiserations to the South Australian Carnival. We will not be covering you this year, which is I'm sure music to everyone's ears.
But what's the most important thing to happen between now and the springtime? Stradbroke Day.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Drifters. That's all you need to worry about.
Yeah.
We've got it covered.
Yeah. So at the absolute minimum, we'll be back for Stradbroke Day, but the intention is to be back well and truly before that. I'm looking at the calendar. There's a Doomben 10,000, a Doomben Cup, Kingsman Smith Cup, the Queensland Derby. Then you got the Oaks and then a Stradbroke, and with the JJ and the Q22. So it's like there's four weekends or so prior to, and we'll be back for one of them. Exact date TBC, but yeah. Just that housekeeping out of the way.
Yeah. Mate, you've got a bit on your plate.
Yes.
Take some stuff off it.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Drifters, I don't know if we said it. Jesus, excuse me. That's better. I don't know if we said it on the podcast before, but this isn't our full-time job. I know
Unbelievable.
it's unbelievable.
It's actually, I'm without belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good point you make. But also, if we're going to take a mid-prep spell or a mid-prep, mid-prep spell, it's going to be around South Australia. Like, if this was day 2 of the championships, like Cox Plate weekend, like, we'd find a way.
Oh, absolutely we would. Absolutely we would. And look, you know, if we're just going to take a small look into the future, which is the Adelaide Carnival, like, if we're looking at the Ned's Futures markets, the Robert Sangster Stakes, you've got Asfura, Climbing Star, Commemorative, Sunshine in Paris, Charmstone, Stretton Angel, Aviatrix, A Little Deep, so on and so forth in the market for that race. Wouldn't classify that as a Group 1. And then you've got, after that, the only other one that's in the market is the Australasian Oaks. And you've got the Yulong thing that won yesterday moving out, Benegill, Cinch, Polymnia, all kinds of folk, Phenom, Toodarn Lizzie. God, it's getting weaker and weaker. So I don't think you're missing too much, Drifters, but yeah, it'll be over in a flash.
It will. It sure will be. What were your general musings on yesterday's racing?
I thought it was a fantastic day of racing.
Features lived up to it.
Features were great. I think we've got a couple of horses that. What's the phrasing that I'm looking for? Been put on notice, maybe.
Oh, yes, mate.
It's a few horses that are being put on notice after yesterday. There's a few who are putting their hand up though.
Coward watch?
Yeah, coward watch.
Yeah.
there's some cowards.
Like light on watch?
Yeah,
They sleep with the light on?
yeah, nightlight type operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking yesterday. I was like, oh, there's a few colours that have been lowered throughout the carnival that were lowered even more so yesterday. Then there's a couple of horses that put their hand up and like, yeah, look, we've got a seat at the table of Group 1 weight freight racing.
Yes. Okay, let's get into it, eh? Yes. Race 1. Well, let's start at the start. I was talking to the source midway in the first. I'm like, bruh, you tenderised, really? I hated it. I really hated
didn't like it.
I hated it from the beginning. But I just found this race absolutely impossible. I was having to scroll through Twitter, and some full credit to this guy said that the thing that wins this is his best bet of the day. $15
In the midway at 15s.
Yeah, and it absolutely fell in, but it
This is the one.
yeah. So I was like, congrats to you, bruh, because I was against the favourites, and yeah, the favourite went fourth. So it was just a disgusting, really tough race. Oh, you know what I really hate is winning the minimum. The absolute minimum on a race, right?
Yeah.
So I put up on my profile a Ned Same Race multi in the highway. Top 4 Ballandary Sal and top 4 Win the Day. Now, do you have RaceNet in front of
I
you?
do.
or anything?
I'm seeing the starting price profiles.
Yeah.
of those horses.
Scroll down to the Quinella price. Right down the bottom.
Oh.
So that, and it's not nothing, top 4, right?
Yeah.
You basically, last 300, you're like, oh, this is absolute jam. Easiest $11 bet that you'd ever have. How did you win the minimum, you ask? Well, I had a bet on Win the Day, who finished second at $7.50. But then Ballandary Sal, who won at $31. The Quinella paid 150 to 1. Just $1. That's all you need on
Yeah,
it.
you just need $1.
It's like, God fucking damn it.
Oh, that's,
So-
that's disgusting punting.
Yeah. So it's like, had a collect on it, but it's just like you're filthy with yourself, even
Yeah.
though you had an 11 to 1 collect. It's like, oh, God damn it. Anyway, so yeah, it is what it is. Coward watch. Where does Swift Falcon live in this?
You can come up with a lot of excuses for Swift Falcon after yesterday.
Is he just not that good?
That's the counter argument.
Yeah.
So, but, the haters out there will just say he's not that good. I wouldn't say I'm a hater, but I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan either. End of prep. He's had a few grand finals. I don't think he's a 2,000 metre horse. I think he's better with a finishing burst, but at the same time, he hasn't won this prep, and his starting price profile would suggest that he needs to be winning at that price. There's no way in hell I could ever dive into him at $1.90 yesterday. I didn't end up having a bet in the race because it just reeked from the get-go. If I was going to bet on something, I probably would have had a spec on Firm Agreement.
I agree.
think,
especially with the track coming up at soft 6.
but didn't have a bet.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Swift Falcon?
I think what do I think about him? Has the bit of the Masked Crusaders about him.
Same silks?
Same silks. Obviously, Masked Crusader, a very effective sprinter. Never thought this horse. I think the stable was right that he didn't run out 2,000 metres.
Yep. He had a peak run over 2,000 meters. Like his peak run of the prep, his target was over 2,000 meters, and it appeared that he ran well enough to suggest that he's a 2,000 meter horse. But I don't think so. I think that was the best he'll ever go over 2,000 meters, and it wasn't good enough to win a race.
Was he third up that day?
Yeah, I think so.
So he was fifth up here.
Yeah.
Just too much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, too much for one young horse.
Yeah.
But I guess given the tempo of the race, I think they weren't absolutely going hard up front. So I think he actually showed some sort of versatility being second at the 800 and the 400 as well. Maybe it still took away a little bit of his brilliance. But yeah, I just need to see him do it now. Swift Falcon. And the thing is like as a upcoming to his 4-year-old season, he's going to be against the open graders. So it's like, where do you take him? Probably in Epsom.
Yeah, and Epsom into a Golden Eagle, I would suggest.
Yeah. So, yeah, the winner was good. Up on pace. TC doing what TC does, just stealing it. Plymouth ran well. Did not expect him to be that far back. So, yeah, he's a bit inconsistent. Miss Alexis was not too bad on her way to a Queensland Oaks.
Yep, she was good, I thought.
25 to 1 into $9.50.
Yeah.
Significant.
Some specking. So, no, she was good. Just looks a genuine staying type and no surprises. So, one to watch.
Yeah. Well said. Lilac.
Yes.
J-Mac just controlled it from the front. You got some of it back.
I got some of it back on Lilac, which was good. Yeah. J-Mac gate 1 from that setup just read really nicely.
The fence wasn't a bad place to be.
No.
I think it was some advantage, but then you could still make some ground out wide.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a lot of people kicking up for Clean Energy, saying Clean Energy, how far? It's like, well, J-Mac kept it in. So, and it was in gate 2. It had every chance possible. But I thought it was a smart win. And what was that? Was that a Group 2 or Group 3? Group 3. That's her. That's her.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine.
I always thought, like, the Zoo Stars are more 1,100 to 1,200s, right? They can get out to 1,400.
Yeah, they can stretch out a little bit.
But being a half-sister to Sunlight, like, I don't think Sunlight really got over further. Like, she ran a bottler in a Golden Eagle in the first edition.
Yeah.
But she was more...
She did, actually, yeah.
She was more a... Because she won, what, a Black Caviar? A Newmarket?
Sunlight. Ooh.
Did she win a Lightning?
I can't remember.
She definitely won a Newmarket.
Yeah, I can't remember. She might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That run of the Golden Eagle was enormous. Just wasn't good enough to beat Colding.
Yeah, Snow and May, just wrong part of the track, too far back.
And like you said, like, want her out over further?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, what's she being aimed towards?
I don't know. Like Queensland Oaks, but then her prep's been hasn't been Queensland Oaksy.
No, it hasn't at all.
Potentially, maybe Australasian Oaks. Like, that's only over 2,000 metres.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, potentially. I will throw in race 5, the Benchmark 88 Cadnarks Jewelers 3-year-olds handicap. 3-year-olds plus, need some luck. Was luckless. 3 wide, no cover. Tommy Berry just rode this horse like the best horse in the race, I think it was. So that was on the profiles as well.
Absolute jam.
So that was a tick.
5 to 1.
Yeah, thank you. Was I dirty with myself? I have a bit of a opinion on Bayard Dajon, and I think he's actually, like, in this sort of field, at this sort of grade, over this sort of distance, with these sort of conditions, I think he's actually pretty smart.
Cut out of the ground.
Massive key to him.
Nice easy lead. Ethan Brown, underrated jockey.
Yep.
Won 6 Group 1s this season. Ethan Brown. Yeah, it was a smart win. 8-year-old gelding. Come up here, wouldn't he?
That's the plan, that he's looking to defend his Doomben Cup crown.
Was that last year that he won it?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So he's going to a Hollandale into a into a Doomben Cup, potentially a Q22.
Yep.
But he's, he just goes forward. You know where he's going to be. Like don't forget, this horse ran 4th in a Caulfield Cup against Without a Fight.
True.
Like, and he was in that leading section, if you remember. Like, that was one of the most genuine run races, and he was only one of those top 4 that actually held on.
Yeah.
So I think he's actually not too bad. It's just he's not quite at the elite level,
Yeah.
But he's good enough to get these second-rate sort of races like this. And he carried the weight, 58.5 kilos too.
It's a smart win. Nice ride. And look, it was single figures in some markets, so there's enough support there to suggest he'd run well.
Yeah, I thought Palmetto was looming up. I thought he was just had the back of him. I'm like, hello.
How's that wet form information differing between...
Yeah, some different providers.
Yeah, exactly.
How
bizarre.
Give the punters a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We want some correct information, please.
Yeah. So, geez. I don't know which was the win of the day. Surely it has to be Nepotism.
Oh, it has to be. That was an enormous run. Do you know what? I was a little bit annoyed at myself because I was very keen on him on the day, but I also knew that there was a feeling in the back of my mind. I was like, I know where he's going to be in the run. There just needs to be some pace. I think there's going to be some pace, but I'm not sure. When I saw him ride out the back, I was just like, shit, this is going to have to be an enormous run for him to win. And it was. Within the Law was massive. She shocked me.
Well, I think I don't know. I've never really seen a horse like her. It's like she kind of teases you that she's not going to quite get there. And then the end of her races, she just picks up and has that like second or third wind. And then
Tough.
So tough. Like she ran so well. But yeah, obviously she just unfortunately finds one better. Like you could actually make the argument that she could be the best 2-year-old that we actually have.
Certainly the most consistent. She won $1.5 million, mate.
Like Devil Knight winning the Blue Diamond into Mahuna into the Golden Slipper. Who won the size?
Vinrock.
Vinrock into Nepotism. Now, you kind of called it early days that this is a very even group of 2-year-olds, and the differing results would kind of suggest that so far.
Yeah.
Albeit some of the winners of the features haven't actually backed up. But Within the Law has been the one that I think, obviously Golden Slipper aside, she's been the most consistent.
Easily.
She's in the finish.
She started before Christmas. She's won $1.5 million. She's missed the trifecta once, and that was when she went through the fence and the slipper. So for mine, yeah, easily the most consistent. I don't know what they do with her. I don't know what she'll be when she's a 3-year-old. Like I'd imagine you just take her on the traditional path to a flight stakes in the springtime.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully she comes up. Like sometimes they just don't.
Yeah.
But no, she was great. Nepotism for me, like we could look into the 3-year-old season and fast forward 12 months time and we could say he's the best one out of all of them. But massive caveat, that racing pattern is going to lose him more races than it's going to win him. Like he can get away with it as a 2-year-old, I think, because there's probably going to be pace generally.
Like Buffalo's had a few flashing lights, but I think what we learned yesterday is he's not going to be featuring in black type.
No.
Like at this grade, right?
No.
He had the perfect run. JC did take the wrong rein, I think. He went outside of one that was going in, and then if he kept his line on the inside, he would have probably made up 1.5 lengths.
Yep.
And he did get stopped on his momentum, but he still should have finished closer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think there's no real stars behind the top two, I don't think.
I don't think so. But no, yeah, Nepotism was a good result. Do you reckon they'd take him up to a JJ?
Nah. Not this stable.
Yeah.
We just love making colts. It's like their catchphrase.
Yeah.
They just love making like big colts, so no need to. I think they will go to a JJ with Federalist though. That same stable. What do you reckon?
That's a good shout. The son of Arcadia Queen. Racing so greenly still. No idea what it's doing out there. The fact that it's even gotten to the track is a bit of an achievement. I'm Invincible, and Vinrock was I'm Invincible's first Australian 2-year-old Group 1 win, which would suggest that that this horse is probably going to be better as a 3-year-old. And I don't know what Arcadia Queen was doing as a 2-year-old, but she was winning over in WA, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think she was up as a 2-year-old, but she was just a freak.
Yeah.
So he's definitely one to watch, Federalist.
Like, if it gets onto a rock hard concrete style Eagle Farm deck, like, I think the Iron Invincibles like being on top of the ground, right? And
Arcadia Queen did.
Arcadia Queen hated any juice in the track. So it's like, by this stage, I think it was a soft 5 anyway, but like, if it is absolute concrete areas, Eagle Farm, I think, could be in the finish.
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Jimmy Star.
Jimmy Star.
Brilliant ride.
Great ride. Ethan Brown again.
Yeah. Got him into wasn't right out the arse end. Perfect position.
Perfect for him. And that was the concern.
Yeah.
For mine was he just gets too far back. But we saw his closing sectionals in the TJ were elite. And, 2 weeks into the all-aged, which was a bit of a query for mine, and just his racing pattern, a bit of a query for mine. Sydney leg, a bit of a query for mine, but no, Jimmy's. We're talking about cowards and the horses that are starting to put their hooves on the table, on the seats on the table. Jimmy Star's one of them. There's a few cowards in this race though.
Oh mate, guaranteed Everest slot for one. He'll be running on Everest Day for sure. Good to see him tick that Sydney box for mine. Last 2 runs, he's kind of got around there, and you never know as well. Like when he was up here in Brisbane and in Sydney, and he was going to Newcastle, he was shipped all over the place. Maybe he just didn't appreciate that. I think the other thing with him as well is he's traditionally run some of his best runs really fresh.
Yeah,
that was only 2 weeks prior on from the TJ as well.
That's what I mean. Like he ticked that box.
So it's like he's just growing into a really consistent wave race sprinter, which is exactly what we need. Jolly Star. I think she ran as well as she could, to be honest. Like Jimmy Star, I feel has a more brutal turn of foot, and she was basically on his hindquarter, and they had the exact same distance right through the line.
Yeah.
Even through the line, they were basically at parity.
She ran super. She ran super. He just was ahead of her in the running, like you said, which proved the difference. But she showed a turn of foot that you want to see from Jolly Star. Sunshine in Paris managed to find a good spot, so well done to Chad Schofield.
Barry
from that
13.
gate. Yeah, found a good spot and was actually just off the speed in a nice position, but just couldn't quite hold on. Briasa looked a winner, I thought.
Did he not just run out that 1,400 metres?
I think so. And for me, though, I'm not ruling him out as a 1,400 metre horse because he's so lightly raced and he's only 4 that maybe he'll grow into more of a 12 to 1,400 metre horse. But he'll run the Everest, Briasa, because the 1,200 I think is going to be in his sweet spot, and we know that the Everest typically is run pretty quickly. So I thought he was good. Like he ran 4th, but I thought it was a super run. He did have the perfect run in transit. Yeah, and they're probably like Sunshine in Paris. She was good, but there's a few others in this race where what's going on? Like Magic Time, what's going on with Magic Time? Bit of juice in the track. I thought it would have suited her.
It was drying pretty rapidly though.
Yeah, but she won first up on a good 3.
True. Yeah, true.
broadsiding. I just hated the setup from the get-go.
Mate, that is one of the most bizarre market plunges I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the Sultan from 2 Units. He summed it up really well. Basically, he was very similar to what we were thinking before the TJ. It's like this horse, like on Briasa, it's like at that price, he's a lay, basically. Getting out to $7, that's more where he's probably suited in the market. This setup for him, cherry ripe, but the horse that he wanted to lay to place was broadsiding. He's like, I don't think he's that good, and he needs to prove it against the open age company. But $4.60 broadsiding started. Like, was he around what, $9-10 on Wednesday?
Don't know if he was that big, but yeah, he was. It was a significant go, irrespective. I like the horse. The shine came off for him, for me, pretty significantly. After that Champions Mile run in the spring, after the Cox Plate, up against Weight for Age. Like, I thought he ran super in the Cox Plate, but 3-year-olds in the Cox Plate, 49.5 kilos, brutal pace, ran into third. Like, he was brained, but he ran super. And I think that's just busted him up a little bit. He's still a phenomenal horse for mine, but he's not like an Animo who's going to mix it at Weight for Age. So I don't think we'll see him again. I think he'll go to stud because based on this, what does he start off the spring in? What's the 1400 metre race? Yeah, Wing Stakes, something like that. Yeah. If he fails in that, it's like, well, he could have been at stud, and are you tarnishing his reputation? Yeah. He's the best 3-year-old colt of his generation.
Yes. You know, all right, thinking about my mind's eye, right? What could I foresee happening for this horse as a 4-year-old? Obviously, like a Golden Eagle and what have you. But say, all right, there's some easier kills over those like milder middle distance type of operations down in Melbourne. He's going to be going up against his stablemate, who I honestly think will beat him home, Tom Kitten.
I think so.
I think Tom Kitten's far more genuine than what he is.
Kitty will be 5 as well. Kitty's just going to improve, I think, with more racing and more maturity. Whereas broadsiding, and you look at him in the yard, he's not a specimen in my opinion. Animo was a bull, you know, and the comparisons are going to come inevitably because same silks, right? Like 3-year-old colt.
Very similar resumes.
Yeah, exactly. But Animo was a bull and just got bigger and bigger. And when I saw him in the flesh for his last ever race at the Queen Elizabeth, like he was a dude, mate. And you could tell he didn't want to be there that day. Broadsiding's not that. He's a bit of a bulldog, but he's not brilliant. I think. I don't think we'll see him again. So from this race, like Jimmy Star, enormous tick, so good to see. He'll be, Weight for Age sprinter for the next 2 or 3 years. I think Jolly Star, I think she's going to always mix her form because I think she needs a bit of a setup, but she's clearly talented enough to be in like an Everest next year. Absolutely. And as a 5-year-old mare, we make that point all the time on the podcast. Briasa, tick, he'll be punching along in Weight for Age for a long time. And then you've just got the mares like Sunshine in Paris, Benedetta, Magic Time, who are going to make up the numbers in the next couple of years as well.
I think Sunshine in Paris is better than making up the numbers, I think she, my gut feeling is that something's been off with her. Like maybe she had like a virus or something, or she was just, I feel like she's been half a run behind every single time. I think,
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm not falling off the bandwagon quite yet for Sunshine in Paris.
I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Is she maybe a springtime filly?
Potentially.
Like if we look at her,
she didn't win a race in the autumn last year.
No, she didn't.
But she also should have won first up in the Galaxy.
She should have, but she came off the boil pretty quickly, didn't she?
Yeah, Yeah.
Second in the Galaxy, 5th in the TJ, 4th in the All Age. So she ran well.
Yeah.
And
And-
to be honest, she had a pretty similar prep in the spring, like in terms of was there or thereabouts and had the win. So
The TJ and the All Age were also on wet ground, which she doesn't appreciate, and she ran 5th and 4th.
yeah, true.
So I think she actually ran as well as she could have, given the circumstances. Potentially, she's a springtime mare, though. I agree with that. Benedetta's running really well, but she's just not this good.
No, she's not.
Like, I think they're targeting the wrong races with her. She should be staying in South Australia.
She should have been. She should have maybe had a race in Sydney at Wait for Age just to pipe opener. Sangster, Taz Tiara.
Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
She could have won both the Sangster and the Tiara. Two more Group 1s. That's her.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Oh, she's one of mine, Benny.
Yep.
But she's just not up to this grade.
Yeah. Then scrolling down the page, broadsiding not even beating home like Osipenko. Like, that's a concern. Antino, I didn't really have an eye on him.
It was bro's looking for further.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the program matched up for Tony Golan.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get him travelling. Let's
Yeah.
perk him up a little bit
Yeah.
and aim him at the races back up here.
Yep. And then Komochi, she was lame in 2 legs.
That makes sense.
So, didn't quite come up. So, can definitely forgive her. But, yeah, Magic Time's probably one of the ones for me that I'm most concerned about.
Could be breeding barn time
Yeah.
for her, which is fine.
Yeah. Especially when you see mares, like, at her age lose their consistency.
Sometimes they just don't want to
Yeah.
race anymore.
That's like, for, say, you compare her to a Jolly Star. Jolly Star are more forgiving because she does. We know that she has an inconsistent run in her, and she's a 4-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Just on the pace of this race, because there was 5 1,400 metre races at Randwick yesterday.
Shit. Didn't even
So
realise.
to the 600 metres, the all-aged field would have been behind the midway field by 1 length, so virtually, in line. They would have been in front of the... Am I reading this right? No, sorry. They would have been ahead of the midway field by about a length. They would have been behind the highway field by about 1.5 lengths. They would have been in front of the lilac race by about 3 lengths. And then they would have been behind the sandpaper race in the last by 6 lengths.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I don't think it was a really genuinely run race up front, which you kind of alluded to, but then they absolutely rattled home.
Yeah. Which suited Jimmy, but I don't think that setup doesn't suit Jolly Star, in my opinion. Therefore, she's run even better than what I thought. I don't think it'd be a truly on race. So, going back to your point about Briasa then. So Briasa had every possible.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially, I don't know, like just in this grade, I think he might be more brilliant over the shorter distances potentially. But he's also a lightly raced horse as well. Only 3rd run of the prep. You'd probably expect him to do a little bit better. Like, yet, in my opinion, he had every possible.
Yep.
So I'll be dirty if you were a Briasa backer. Now, Marzu's just deciding to turn up once a year in the Hallmark Stakes.
I was happy to see it, but I was a bit annoyed.
Drying track.
Yeah.
I'm like, mate, what are you doing?
I jumped on the source with a Straka.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, like, what was he? $4.50 earlier in the week into $3. Like, significant money.
Yep.
I just don't think last 2 runs he's been leading. He's not a leader. That horse. He needs a bum to chase, and yeah, he just kind of weakened in the last furlong. So, but yeah, Marzu had the perfect run right behind. I think Jamie Mellon's like almost the perfect jockey for him.
Yep.
Just he'd be running along, not even knowing that she's on his back.
He's a funny horse, Marzu.
Yeah, he
Mate, look at the prize money. 8.5 million.
Fuck. He won that. That's right.
That
he won
bonus.
that Team Blue bonus
Yeah.
without winning a race.
Yeah.
That would be when he was a early season 4-year-old because we were on him in his autumn time 3-year-old season because he won Arrowfield,
He won like 4 or 5 in a row for us.
like picket fence sort of stuff.
Oh, it was jam.
And he was like $3 to $4 every single time. It's like, what are we missing? And that's the point on him, right? At $4.40 he started, like for a horse that literally won this race last year on a bottomless track, around the same price. Like, I'm happy for him to win,
Oh, absolutely.
but I'm not going to be betting on him in this situation, especially on an improving track like that. So he's been running well. This prep in obviously more difficult grade, but for him now, this is his sort of setup.
Yeah.
And he's a 6-year-old, so I don't think he's going to be like I'd be shocked if he's going around this time next year.
He's done his job.
Yeah.
He's won nearly 9 mil. Like, what an absolute legend.
Yeah, and that's what's frustrating about Ostraka because he's the one on the up. He had a fantastic spring preparation.
Yep.
Like, he's the horse that you wanted to be on. And if it wasn't him, it was probably Zadaki, who was just behind him in that prep as well. And I think he was about $16 into $7. So both the market plunges landed nowhere.
The market in Sydney this autumn, never seen it be so inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's usually pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. And then, Bjorn in the last, I should just learn a lesson.
Yeah, Bjorn in the last.
Yeah.
I backed Sandpaper a couple of starts ago when he beat home Amenable on this, I think it was at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Bjorn's like striking it more than 30% the last 3 months. Like,
Unbelievable.
Like the 30%, that might work for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but
Well,
not for 3 months.
Like a summer off season.
Yeah.
Like, as he was. And I think he was even admitting, it's like, been picking off some pretty easy races, but it's just continued. Yeah. Full credit to him. He's done fantastically well. And he usually sends a decent crop up to Queensland as well.
He does, yeah.
And my point as well, you would not see many trainers be able to have a runner in the slipper, run second in a Millennium, run second in a Champagne Stakes, but also win a Sydney Cup.
No, he's doing it all at the moment, Bjorn.
Winning a Doncaster. Like, he is...
And because it's Bjorn, you're getting a price generally.
Exactly. And so I think he's... Yeah. I think he is a bit spoiled for selection. Like, he even joked after... Sandpaper after that race. He's like, I looked at the card next weekend. There was no 2-year-old race to send within the law. It's like, he's like, yeah, I think I'll finally have to spell it because, there's nothing available next weekend. So it's like, I think he just hasn't, when he has him up and running, he probably isn't like your Chris Waller where it's like, this is the preparation, we're going to stick to it, like methodical. He's like, if they're running well, then let's...
He literally says all the time, he's like, they can't make money if they're sitting in the stable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If that's your ethos, that's fine.
Yeah.
At least
They're going to burn out, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I backed Mighty Ulysses in this race. He started at 17s. I jumped on when he was like 24s or something like that. I went each way, and he ran 5th, but it wasn't far away from 3rd. I was like, God! It was like, come on, Mighty. He was lugging like 61 kilos or something like that.
He has a fresh run in him.
That's what I mean. So I was like, that's not a bad spec each way. But hey, we have an official winner for the Group 1 tipping comp because we had a tip-off yesterday. It was between Josh Bunny and Cooper Corliss of No Cord, Zero Cords fame. They basically put a tip in for... Same sort of setup. Put a tip in for every single race at Randwick yesterday. Josh Bunny has taken it out by 1 point. Oh... I was checking it yesterday heading into the last, and I was like, oh, what are they backed in the last? We'll see what they're on. And they both had tabby time. So irrespective, the result was done. But the differing bet that won it for Josh Bunny, so congratulations, mate. Our boy Marzu. He was on.
No way.
He was on. So well done. Josh Bunny came from the clouds. He had a Rappahoe in the Sydney Cup, which got him the 6 points, which is what he needed to equal Cord up the top. And now you've pipped him on the line, mate. You've come home with a wet sail. So well done. $1,000 coming your way. Well done to Cord as well for being a good sport. Easily could have just split the money, but you both said, nah, let's have a crack. Yeah. Let's have a shot at the big time. So well done to you, gents. Thanks for participating.
Yeah. Well, your consolation prize, Cord, will be inevitably when we see you at Stradbroke season.
Yeah.
We'll buy you a beer. So, a few beers on us. Mate, we can't forget the Mornington Cup.
Of course. The banker. Mate, there was a few smart judges out there who were on him, you included.
Yeah.
10-1. Yeah, yep.
Disrespect.
Yep.
Just, I thought he'd just be near enough to the speed here and just be awfully hard to run down.
No, he
fell in.
He fell in. Berkshire Breeze loomed up like he was going to zoom past, but he had to think about it, Berkshire. So, and he was pretty short. He was like $2.20 or something like that, Berkshire. But no, well done. Banker's choice in the listed Team Blue Mornington Cup.
Yeah. No, Ned's Mornington Cup.
Yep.
Just a couple of what do you do with them type operators. Young Werter. Finishing 9 lengths, second last, and then Just Fine, the Group 1 winner, finishing last by 9 lengths as well. I didn't see the beginning of this race. Did Key Tempesta miss the start by heaps?
Yep.
Okay. Because Matt Hill was like, "Oh, what a finish off by Key Tempesta." I'm looking like, hit this. I'm like, he finished third last by 7 lengths, bruh. But he must have,
Yeah, he did. So look. Frustrating day for the victim yesterday. Mornington was trying to find some value because the first few races were dross, and the first 5 races were won by favourites. So it should have went in doubt. Just
favourite bash.
Just favourite bash. But look, found the winner of the 5th, and then here's the runway home. Race 6, Thames second by less than a length.
Mate, that thing ran out of its skin.
Out of its skin. Was given a little bit of a butcher. Race 7, Fear No Evil, third, led the entire way. Was just run down in the last sort of 50 metres. Berkshire Breeze in the Mornington Cup was zooming home. Just had a bit of a think about it. War Machine in the second last. Got jammed in the market. Declan Bates gave it an absolute butcher.
Oh, really?
Just screamed home and just missed the instructor.
Because I had a bet on War Machine, but I was at a mate's place and I didn't watch it. And I saw it ran second. I'm only seeing the margin now.
And then
so that's annoying.
Prancing Spirit in the last, 0.3 lengths run second. Oh, what a frustrating day for the victim.
Yeah.
With so many
That's all right because I think what I'll be doing is having a little freshen up.
Yep.
Going into the Queensland Carnival. And I'll probably start, really delving into my Queensland form now.
Yep.
Because I feel like, especially over the middle distances here in Queensland, there is some because they mix their form. You just got to kind of get the speed maps, get the jockey combinations, get the weight scales, and there's money to be had in Queensland.
Absolutely. There's always horses from down south being sent up here, which just blitzes the market. Queensland's horses showing no respect whatsoever. It's like, hang on, this thing's running pretty well. And there's a reason why the southern stables are sending this horse up here, because it wasn't good enough to win over the autumn time in their state.
I saw one of mine in a former life. We're seeing other people now. Was Depth of Character. Did he win yesterday?
He did win.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, he did. At $2.80, though. You know what I mean? That's awfully short.
It is short.
So, but yeah. Just looking at, King Kappa won the Neds Ascot Quality. So, anyway. That's right. I had a little spec on Spacewalk in that race.
Did you? Spacewalk.
He did exactly what Spacewalk does. Loomed up, and he's like, I'm just gonna.
Don't want to try too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, it was a good day. It's a good end to the New South Wales Carnival. But all systems go for the Queensland Carnival? Because there's not a carnival in between that, is there?
Well, not for us. Not this year. So, appreciate all the support so far for this season. Yes, we're taking a little bit of a spell, but we will be back for the Queensland winter at some stage. Give us a follow on Instagram, On The Drift Podcast, YouTube. You'll see all the information there.
But the victim and the source, they don't get to have any time off. So keep an eye out on their socials.
Yeah, you might see the bully back as well.
Yeah, the bully might have to come back.
Yeah, the Brisbane bully. So, yeah. All right. See you later.
See you, Drifters.